Welcome back, Benchwarmers. It's that time of year where we're all guessing random teams and filling out brackets.
Dude, that is legit what we do every March. But we don't start watching until February, so I don't know. Although, maybe not so much of the brackets this year, huh?
I mean, I'm going to fill one out, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, same. Let's talk March Madness, baby. I'm Brendan. Madness. This is March!
I'm Corey, hair down, and this is Our View from the Bench.
Before we get started, if not already, don't forget, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see here, please don't forget, smash that like button.
Smash it for us. Come on. It's free. It's free for you. It's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
Well, Corey, I know that your time was close to playing collegiate basketball. I know you were one of the showstoppers at Charter Oak, but...
Oh, man. Okay, we're going way back now.
Yeah, but you know what? College basketball is here. I follow it because it's nice to kind of have on in the background sometimes, but it like really takes up a giant chunk of the NFL season. And if anybody watches, they know that is where I reside. So I don't really start paying attention, like I said, until about February after the Super Bowl. I was like, oh yeah, all right, well, March is almost here, so let's start paying attention to college basketball. You feel the same way a little bit?
I mean, yes and no. I probably watch a little bit more during the regular season, but it's not that I follow a certain. I mean, I love Arizona and I follow them, bear down, obviously. But beyond that, I'm with you. If there's a college game on when I come home, I'll put it on and just watch. But it tends to be the same teams over and over on ESPN, Duke and the big ACC or SEC teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of
some Big Ten.
Yeah, you know, some Kentucky, that kind of stuff. So we probably see a lot of the big favorites or blue bloods of college basketball more than anything else. But again, like February, you start watching the conference tournament championship stuff, and that's when you really start to find some of these other schools that you're looking for.
Yeah, or that you aren't looking for. They just make you look for them. Like some of those crazy runs are just like super impressive. I mean, unless it busts your bracket like to shreds, which again, everybody's bracket kind of gets busted to shreds, so honestly, it doesn't even matter. It's just fun to watch.
Yep. The madness, as they say, is fun, is the best.
100%. So we're here. We're going to give our view of this from, our perspective. What we're going to do is we're going to pick two favorites. We're going to pick two underdogs. And then we're going to pick who we think is going to win. We're not going to go through the brackets. Everybody's got their own opinion on it. There's a million freaking professionals and experts out there that are filling out all their brackets.
And we are not one of those experts.
And we are not one of those experts. So
that's what you're here for, man. We were here to just watch the games and enjoy it. And like you said, we'll pick a couple favorites or top dogs that people expect to be there. Maybe a couple underdogs that we think might be able to make their run that nobody else is talking about. And then ultimately who we think is going to win the whole thing.
Well, let's get it started then, man. Let's start with the favorites. I guess we could both go first because this is one that, after looking at the sheet, we're like, okay. So let's just start with, I guess I'll go first, and then it's the same one. So a heavy favorite for the entire tournament. There's two that are kind of major. Auburn's up there, but we're running with Duke. Duke is one of those blue bloods that you mentioned, and they are really above and beyond an elite team. They are so good, and it really goes even farther than what everybody knows as Cooper Flagg. The entire roster is amazing, and honestly, the coach, John Shire, is probably one of the most unexperienced coaches there is, just sitting behind Coach K for so long. So, I mean, I don't know. The recruiting class is insane. These guys are stacked. No, I mean, this is who you have as one of the favorites too, right?
Absolutely. And you mentioned John. How do you say last name?
Shire.
He actually played for Duke as well, so he's been there a long time, been a part of the program from the ground up as far as like knowing the ins and outs of it, and was obviously given the reins from Coach K for a reason. He's continued to recruit these guys in, which even with the NIL and everything going on, still able to adapt and change into those new rules. Like you mentioned, Cooper Flagg, but their recruiting class alone is great. But it helps having Cooper Flagg to then, maybe attract some of those other guys to come. But even with him out since the beginning of the tournament that they had last week, they still were able to take care of business in the ACC tournament. So I think,
which is one of the toughest conferences out there. Yeah,
exactly. So I still think they have a shot. And if anything, if they can take care of the first weekend and not have to worry about Cooper Flagg rushing back, take your time, man. It's all good. We'll take care of the first two games. Maybe that second weekend you can try to make your way back into it, and then we can make a real run for the title.
Yeah, it's a great point. And to your point, kind of talking about some of those other people, coming into this season, they had 5 top 100 players, and 3 of them were in the top 5 alone. Cooper Flagg was obviously ranked number 1. They had Malawach. I think that was it. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. And then Knipple, probably your favorite word to say, right, Corey? But honestly, the team could score. They could defend. They could rebound. They played really well together. And honestly, anything short of a Final Four minimum would probably be disappointment to this team. They're just too good. No one expects to win the title. Everyone has that goal probably, but they kind of win your bracket at least, right? This is one of those teams that you got to at least make it out of your bracket.
Yeah, when you're a 1 seed, the expectation is to win your region and at least get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And again, if they're able to get through the first 2 games and Flag is able to get healthy and come back for the second weekend, then they really have that opportunity to make that run to the Final Four, if not all the way to the title game.
100%. So, all right. So let's continue then with the favorites. You go though. So we both have Duke as our first favorite. It was kind of hard not to pick them. We try to pick different, but we do this separately. So we happened to land on Duke, but come on, it's freaking Duke. What it is what it is.
Flag, the whole 9 yards around the Duke program right now. Why wouldn't
exactly? So give me your other favorite then.
So my other favorite is the 2 seed Michigan State. I think the biggest part is we talked about this last year when we did our tournament preview too. Like it comes down to guard play and coaching in the tournament
because they got the ball in their hands.
Exactly. So in the regular season, the Big Ten, Michigan State was the champion in the regular season. Tom Izzo has obviously been through this a million times. You've got Akins and Richardson averaging 12 points a game each and at the guard position. So again, guard play is big in the tournament. You have 2 guards averaging over 12 points a game. At least if one of them's not on, hopefully the other guy is. So you have 2 options compared to most teams where you have a guard and a big man. And the big man in college game is just not as big of a deal, or doesn't,
unless you are elite like Klingon was at UConn or Zach Edey at Purdue, something like that.
Those guys come around very few and often.
Correct.
Basketball. So the guard play is most important, but again, I think Tom Izzo, just having been there, he's going to have his guys ready to go and play every single game, so they should battle. They're not going to lose big, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe just Tom Izzo and then make a run this year. There's 2 seed expectations, but again, not as a 1 seed, so maybe not as much. But I don't know, just something about
it's a good one. To be honest, it has been a minute since Michigan State's really made a run. An effort, not an effort. That sounds a real big run. To your point, I'm sure they give effort each time. But it just seems like it's been a minute since Izzo's been back in the top of the spotlight. Everybody knows who Tom Izzo is. Michigan State is a formidable foe, but unless you're getting the recruiting, that's the thing about college, man. Is like it's not like the pros where it's like, oh man, we're not good. Let's just grab that guy. I mean, it is a little bit, but it's not like there's no mid-season stuff. I get the transfer portal is a little bit like that, but if you're not convincing people to show up, there's no amount of you have to convince them. It's not you can't trade for him. So that makes sense. And I agree. Tom Izzo is a legendary coach. So you can't go wrong with that one.
Right. Okay. So since we both went Duke on the first one, who's your other favorite you're looking at?
So mine's Michigan State. I'm just kidding. Imagine. No, actually, again, these are the favorites, so don't hate us. I'm going with Houston. I actually watched this team a couple of times this year, and they can play. They could really ball. They have the second-ranked scoring defense in the country, and they play in the Big 12, which is, arguably one of the widely considered best basketball conferences in the nation, along with a little bit of the SEC, but mostly the ACC, some Big 10, but really it comes down to Big 12 and ACC. So, kind of having them there. They just won the conference tournament over Arizona. No offense. But, what I'm saying is like that's a good team as well. They're a 4 seed and they just won. They're number 1 going into the conference tournament. Last year they did as well. They kind of stumbled, but they made up for it in the big dance. As far as the conference tournament last year, they were the 1 seed, but they lost to, I think, Iowa State or whoever it was. But again, they made it from the big dance, and I'm kind of expecting to see this team make some noise again. So I got Houston. Again, these are the favorites. Don't shoot us. We're going to pick some underdogs. Don't worry. So, so I got Duke and Houston, and you've got Duke and Michigan State.
All right. Hey, a couple blue buds for there for sure.
Yeah. 100%. So, all right, now let's move to the underdogs for all those out there looking for some of the upsets here. I went crazy on my underdogs. I picked super ones, but let's start with you. Pick one of your underdogs.
All right, so one of these is going to be, of course, Arizona as a 4 seed, bear down, as I mentioned. Caleb Love has been good. He's a senior. He's averaging, I think, like 16 points a game this year. They have a lot of the only thing that always comes down to it with Arizona this time of year is defense. The offense is never really the issue. They have a bunch of guys that can score. They just never seem to make the stop when they need it. So with Tommy Lloyd still being there as a coach the last few years, I know he's built the program back up since it got torn down when Sean Miller left. But I don't know. I got to pick them only because I love them so much. I don't really think they can make that much of a run. But they're a 4 seed, so they're not going to lose, hopefully, in the first round or two. I'm hoping they at least make it to the second weekend. And then, again, anything can happen once we get beyond that.
Yeah, exactly. Very true. Okay, well, that's a good one. I mean, Arizona is a good team, so it's not like,
But we say
it's
this every year. That's the
I
problem.
know. I'm just trying to help you out, bud.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, agree. Okay, so let me move then to my underdog. My first one is going to be Virginia Commonwealth University. Yes,
Oh,
the
wow.
VCU Rams, the 11 seed of theirs. The reason why, honestly, the more I kind of look at it, so we're gonna throw up on the board here. We have what they call. We don't have it. Let me not pretend like I made this.
No,
They out in the ether of college basketball. There's something called the trapezoid of excellence. Okay, there's a graph, and we'll throw it up on the screen here. X and Y axis here. The Y axis is your net rating adjusted for the opponent that you play. Obviously, the higher the positive, the better. The more negative, the worse your net rating is. And then from left to right, basically the Y axis is the pace at which you play. The farther left is the slower you play. The farther right is the faster you play. And this is kind of the trapezoid of excellence is basically where if you're in here, most of the time you're a good team, you're a good tourney team, and you have the opportunity to make a big run. And I see VCU just outside of that spot. And so that's kind of what I'm running with. It's not necessarily that VCU is this great team, but they start by having to play BYU outside and lower on the efficiency. Then they probably would play Wisconsin and then Alabama. They actually
yeah,
match
okay.
up based on efficiency better or equal to all of them. The only one that really is close is Bama, but they're just fast. Well, sometimes that works, but if by the time you get to if VCU were to make it this time, if they were by the time they play Alabama, we're late in the tournament. It comes down to slowing down, playing
Mhm.
some defense, and being efficient. And I think VCU is kind of right on the outskirts of that trapezoid. And again, a well constructed team and some timely upsets. I think anything can happen. Nobody really beats Alabama at pace, but how did that fare for them last year?
Yeah, true. And also, isn't what's the saying? Is it sometimes styles make fights or something like that? I think that's what the thing is. Like a certain style or way you played, if you're totally opposite, sometimes one is just way better than the other, and it's just a bad matchup, and you're not going to win no matter what. Sometimes that's I think it's styles make fights or something like that. I can't remember the
Okay.
saying,
I
but a
like
certain
that.
style of play it just works against your style of play no matter what you do. You can't adapt to it. You can't change, and that could be something that if Alabama can't slow down and play to that
That's my
pace,
point.
that could be ultimately hurt them.
100% my point. And I didn't know that cool, fun phrase, but that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, well, they're evenly matched, and Alabama looks like they can only win one way, fast as heck. And so I just like, you know what? I don't know if that's necessarily what I'm running with. So I'm going the VCU Rams. Again, they need some timely upsets, and I don't know if exactly who they're going to play. But starting with BYU, they already kind of rank better than them. So go
Okay,
Rams.
just so I got this right, it is called the saying is styles makes fights. It's a boxing saying, and it means that different fighting styles and techniques can create a unique matchup, leading to unpredictable and exciting outcomes. So,
Okay. All right.
just so
I
we
like
clarify.
that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Because I didn't know what it was, but I believed you regardless. Okay, so I'm going with VC. You've got Arizona. Give me your other upset or underdog. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll say I don't know. Underdog, I guess, is not going to be huge because it's a 2 seed, but I'm going with St. John's, and really, the only reason I'm doing it is because of Rick Pitino. He coached
As a
Louisville.
school, it's more of a
Yeah,
underdog than it is like the seeding. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, like St. John's are from the Big East, I believe. It's like okay school,
Mm-hmm.
but Rick Pitino used to coach Louisville, coached them to a title, and then it came out he was. I think there was something to do with strippers with recruits
A
or
little
something.
bit. There might
So
have
they
been some
did
stripping.
all the wins and took the championship away. He got kicked out of college. He went to like overseas and coached in Europe for a couple years. Then he went to Iona, who nobody was like even knew
Oh
that was.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was able to make them a legitimate school and program, got him into the tournament once, and
Mm-hmm.
then got hired here in St. John's and has rebuilt this program. And now he's kind of back. I feel like in my view, he's kind of like on a vengeance tour. Like I'm going for it all as a 2 seed. You're a little bit of expectation. It wouldn't be the shocker
True.
of the world if you made it very far, but also not a lot of people expect St. John's to do anything when it really comes down to it. So I'm just kind of thinking Patino knows how to work the program. He's been through this a million times. He knows how the tournament goes. I just think he'll have them ready and somehow maybe get them to a Final Four at least and kind of see what can happen from there. Because again, once you get past that first weekend, who knows what matchups and things will downfall in front of you from there as far as setting yourself up for the long run.
No, that's a good point. And I'm trying to find to see if they played. They didn't even make the tournament last year. So going from not available to make the tournament to a 2 seed
Yeah.
is pretty astounding. To your point, so that's a good pick.
And again,
Again,
it's
not the hugest underdog, but
Yeah, exactly.
It came out of nowhere.
That's my point. St. John's. Let's see. Let's do what we can do. All right. Okay. So I got my 2 underdogs. Who's your second one? Since you went,
I'm going even. I picked real ones. Okay, I'm going even lower than 11, and I'm going with McNeese University.
I'm so glad you. I thought about this, but then I was like, I don't know. It'd maybe just be the guy who brings them out of the tunnel. That's cool. But okay, continue on.
No, the McNeese State University. What are they?
I'll say I don't even know what their mascot is.
I was trying to figure out what their mascot is, but I couldn't figure it out. But they're from Louisiana, so we'll see how that goes. But they really I kind of dissected this similar to how I was trying to find an underdog when I found VCU. So if we bring up the trapezoid again, there are you can't quite see them, but if you look by Clemson and UCLA and Baylor right there, they're a little bit under there. There's a little yellow M, kind of similar to the Michigan M. That's McNeese. So they are above on the adjusted. They're obviously outside, but their play through there is Clemson and then either Purdue or High Point University. Now, Clemson is the only one that would give them a problem. I'm just trying to pick a random upset. That's a 5-12. 5-12 upsets happen all the time. Weird. But Purdue and or High Point are both below them as far as efficiency goes. So I could see them making it at least to a Sweet 16. And for a 12 seed, McNeese University to make it to a Sweet 16. I think that's not too bad. Again.
The McNeese State Cowboys, just so you know.
Plus Cowboys, thank you. Okay.
But also, if they get to the Sweet 16, then that becomes I don't know the guy's name who's their equipment manager, who brings out the boombox when they come out. Like, his store going to get bigger and bigger. He's going to be like the Mother Gene for the university.
Oh, yes.
What was that school from Chicago?
St. Bonaventure?
No, it was Loyola Chicago or something.
Loyola Chicago Marymount.
Yeah, something like that, because it was a religious school. But I remember
Loyola Marymount. No, that's this one over here. No.
Loyola Chicago, right? Chicago. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, they had that lady that was part of the school. She was like in her 90s, and she was.
What was her name again?
Mama Jean, I think, for some reason comes to me. Mother Jean. I don't remember. It's been a while since they made their run. Chicago. I'm pretty sure Chicago in the movie. But anyways, this is going to be their version of it with McNeese State with this guy, equipment manager. He's coming out, rapping to the song, playing the boombox. Kind of like the Niners back in the day when they were good, had the boombox coming out of the locker room onto the field. Mm-hmm. This is going to be McNeese State, and if they make it beyond again, he gets to continue his story, get even more popular on social.
I found it. It's Loyola University in Chicago, and it was Sister Jean.
Sister Jean. Okay, that's close.
Yeah, no, you're not bad. So yeah, I don't see them going too far. If they were to beat these schools, like I was talking about, either Clemson, and then either Purdue or High Point, they would then meet Houston, who I have as a favorite. But again, making it to play when you're beating big schools like Clemson and Purdue, possibly, or High Point, I guess. I think that's enough to at least bring it up. So I'm going with VCU and McNeese State. Rams Cowboys. Let's go. Not LA, Dallas. Just so we're all on the same page.
Rams and Grown Cowboys, guys. Relax.
Exactly. All right. Well, now that we've got some favorites, now that we've got some dogs, now we're going to give you who we think is actually just going to take the whole tourney. Corey, let's start with you.
All right. Well, I went off the board, and the team that I went down and looked at who's going to win is not one of the 4 teams that I just discussed with you.
Perfect. Nice. Well, that's good. So we don't have so we have something new to talk about.
Exactly. So I'm going Tennessee. They're a 2 seed. Coming out of SEC, I believe 14 of the 16 teams from the SEC made the tournament, and they were 4th overall in the conference. So they're on the higher end of it. They hear Rick Barnes, who's been their coach for the last, I want to say, like 5 or 6 years. He's been to the tournament and a lot of times with Texas back in the day. I think Providence back in the day as well. So he's made a Final Four run before. They've got 4 guys averaging 10 or more points, including Chaz Lanier averaging 18 a game. So
yes,
plenty of options to score, which, again, we talked about guard play. I think 3 of those guys are guards. So they got plenty of guards that can score. And I don't know. Just something about Tennessee. The SEC's been a big battle this year with Auburn and Alabama. They've had to go through a gauntlet just to get through all that and the conference championship tournament to get here. So for some reason, I don't know. I'm just liking Rick Barnes and the Tennessee Volunteers, which has nothing to do with my fandom of the Tennessee Titans because I normally don't pick anything else from Tennessee, I promise.
True. Yeah, true. You're not like a Predators guy. You're not like, yeah, no, that's true.
You really had to think about it for a second.
I know. I was like, let me just double check to make sure he's right. Okay, yeah, no, that's true. Okay, well, that's a good pick. I mean, you really can't go wrong with, especially, dude, 4 players over 10. That's good. It's so crazy to talk about college football when we think about professional football, because like, can you imagine if at my point why the Lakers were going to win because they have 4 players averaging 10 points? You'd be like, and
I mean,
I just think it's kind
strength
of
in
crazy.
numbers thing that the Warriors used to do is a thing, but yeah, they didn't have that many guys averaging 10 plus. So yeah, it'd be very strange. Plus, there's if you think about it too, even more so in college, there's 8 less minutes per game being played than in the NBA.
Right, and
so
that's the main thing, you know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
Okay.
So I got obviously Tennessee. I'm going off the board, but you, it sounds like, might have stuck with one of the 4 teams you already mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I didn't want to have anything else to talk about, so I'm just kidding. But no, I am running with Duke. It's just one of those things that I'm running with. The Blue Devils cannot be stopped, in my opinion. A lot of this tournament, and you even mentioned it before, is who's got the best player. And right now, as long as Cooper Flag is playing in the NCAA, Duke has the best player. Now, on any given night, any other player can show up, of course, right? But right now, it's Cooper Flag. So I don't think anyone else in the tournament was training with Team USA for the Olympics, but Cooper Flag was giving the pros some work. So he got some practice over the summer before heading into this season. He leads his team in everything. He leads in points. He's got 19 a game. He leads in rebounds. He's got 7.5. He leads in assists. He's got 4. He leads in steals and blocks with a point or 1.5 and 1.2 each. 3 guys averaging over 12 points a game, including Knipple. And then that's not even including their gigantic 7'2" center, who is just sitting down in the down low with 1.2 blocks a game as well. So they play defense. They don't turn the ball over a lot, and they can score. They're well coached. I mean, and they're a 1 seed. It doesn't really help. It doesn't really hurt to have that on your team, right? So I think this team is excellent. They have the best player. Bring the glory back to Durham.
All right. Hey, well, again, that means Cooper Flag's going to be playing. We haven't heard any updates.
Yes, true. That's me. That's correct. I'm assuming a healthy Cooper Flag, to your point.
But I'm kind of expecting a healthy Cooper Flag.
Yeah, he came back onto the court without it wrapped after when he got hurt that one game. So it was hurt, but nothing was like broken, or I don't even think there was a sprain. So or if it was, then I'm wrong, but it wasn't a major one, at least.
Yeah, again, nothing has been announced, but I think the fact that they haven't said he's done for the tournament, I'm assuming they're just going to take it day to day. And again, if he has to miss the first game or even the first 2 games,
they should handle the 16 seed, dude.
If they lose to the 16 seed without him, then that's a problem. But I think they'll
just
be
delete
fine.
This episode.
We never said anything. I swear.
Duke sucks. No, just kidding. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's it for us, guys. You saw who we have as favorites. You saw who we've got as underdogs. I've got some crazy ones making some waves, and you saw who we have winning the tournament. Let us know in the comments below who you got winning the tournament.
And are you picking any crazy upsets like Brendan, or are you just going for the top seeds, kind of like I did a little bit there? Let us know on Twitter and Instagram at RVUFTV or the comments here on YouTube.
Exactly. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Thank you as always for seeing things from RV from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.